All right, well, let's turn it over to our game of the week breakdown. This week we are talking number 5 Washington at number 12 Oregon State. This game is at 7:30 on Saturday. Uh, Washington is this is an interesting matchup because Oregon has such a good rushing attack. They're second in the NCAA in rushing success rate. They average over 5 yards per carry. Washington's run defense is bad.
Yeah, real bad.
127th in success rate. This is a bad matchup for the Washington defense. Oregon State has the top graded run blocking offensive line per PFF. I could see Oregon State really trying to slow this game down, running the football, and they're going to do that because although their secondary is good on paper, they haven't really faced many good passing attacks. And Michael Penix Jr., Rome Odunze, we've been talking about these guys on this show. They are lighting up college football right now. So Washington is favored by 1 in this game with an over-under set at 64. So Vegas expects this to be a very high-scoring game. Dibes, I'll throw it to you. What are you watching in this game? How do you expect to see it play out?
I think Washington gets the W here. I'm so impressed by how much Washington's able to kind of flip a switch and say, hey, today we're going to throw the ball. Hey, today we're going to run the ball and not miss a beat. This is arguably the best offense in college football. You touched on Oregon State. You're absolutely correct, Shane. This is one of the best rushing attacks in the country, nearly 200 yards on the ground per game. Damian Martinez, over 1,000 yards, has a ridiculous 9.1 yards per carry. My goodness, that's insane. They have another guy, Deshaun Fenwick, nearly 500 yards, another 7 touchdowns. But, can Oregon State slow down Penix and Odunze? That's where I go. Rome Odunze is one of my favorite prospects in this entire class, period. And no one has been able to stop Penix or Odunze. They remain undefeated. You look at last week, Penix Jr. targeted Odunze 11 times. Michael Penix Jr. looked a little human, but he connected on 3 of them, and those 3 receptions went for 111 yards, and 2 of those were touchdowns. So I really like Odunze. He gives me Deebo Samuel vibes. Just at 6'3", he's an amazing route runner. He's amazing at creating separation, amazing hands, can light you up downfield. I know it would be such a luxury pick for the Eagles, but if he's sitting there and the Eagles are drafting at number 32, I run to the podium and make that selection. He is a star. So for me, I got Washington winning this one, but it's going to be a really great game.
All right, so Dibes is on Washington. Ryan, how do you see this game playing out? What are you watching for?
Yeah, this should be a pretty nice back and forth battle, and yeah, I think Washington will ultimately pull it out. But yeah, Shane, you mentioned, and that's the first thing that I went to is just how bad Washington's run defense is, and how great Oregon State's run offense is. So that's certainly going to be something that Washington offense is going to have to counteract. And they certainly are capable. Obviously, we've seen it all year. Penix Jr., has played amazing. Rome Odunze has absolutely played amazing. I mean, this guy has 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns. I mean, let's not forget Polk, who's almost at 1,000 yards himself with 8 touchdowns. Like their passing offense is just lethal. And Dibes, you said it for last week. They were just like, we weren't really throwing the ball that well. Penix looked a little human. The weather kind of, was probably affecting all that. And so what did they do? They just ran the ball down their throats. And, that's the ability of this Washington offense. And yeah, I just think the Washington offense versus that Oregon State defense is just going to be a little too much for them to handle. Even though on the flip side, the Washington defense is pretty bad. Even though they have some really great players on that defense, it's just that rush defense, man, it's real bad.
I'm really happy you brought up Ja'Lynn Polk because there's a similar situation going on in LSU. LSU has Jaden Daniels, and everybody talks about Malik Neighbors, and
Yep.
rightfully so. Malik Neighbors is a first-round talent. But there's another wide receiver at LSU named Brian Thomas Jr., who's 6'4" and a flat-out stud, probably a day 2 selection. Jalen Polk's in that same tier.
Yeah.
He's been tearing it up. Again, 6'4", really talented downfield threat. So make sure you keep an eye on Polk.